You are now tuned in to the Lineman Lounge, the world's thickest sports podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Evo.
¿Cómo están, bitches? This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. It is Sunday morning. Week 6 of the NFL is underway. The Jags are currently getting stomped by the Bears. But you know what? We're here. We're ready to go. We both took the Jags plus 1.5. Not looking good so far. We'll see if that improves. But my man, Evo, welcome in. How you doing? How was the week? Are you ready for some football?
I'm doing good, man. And this game just started second half here while we were getting ready to start the show. Bears are up 14-3 and in scoring position. It looks like they're down to the 5-yard line or so. So might get some more points on the board here, but it's still only a 2-score game right now. Our bet is not out by any means. And it was all points in the second quarter there for the Bears. They didn't look great in the first, and then we're able to get a Komet touchdown to start things off in the second quarter. So we'll continue to watch that game as it goes along, but we got a whole slate of NFL football for the rest of the day, minus, of course, our bye week teams, which is why it's kind of the most boring week in football right now, because your two undefeated teams, my Vikings and Chiefs, are both not playing. So depending on how things go, the Vikings may or may not maintain a 1.5 game lead in the NFC. I believe it's going to kind of revolve around this first game that we're going to end up going over today. But Mike, how are you doing, buddy?
I mean, I'm here, brother. I'm ready to pick all of the games except for one, because I know how it's gonna go. We're here, man. The Browns are where the Browns are at, but I'm excited to be here. It's it's a good day. Family's good. I'm good. Rocking the breast cancer awareness shirt. It is breast cancer awareness. October is breast cancer awareness month, right? Yeah, there we go. Rock, supporting the ladies.
Support second base.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, I'm good. The Browns are going to roll out what I think is going to be the exact same thing that they've been rolling out. But there are reports that maybe Kevin Stefanski, we're going to revert back to his offense. We'll see. We're not going to talk about that game to start. We'll talk about some U Sports football wrapped up for G. Listen, he had a good year. Team had a tough year. He played well. He's probably played the best that I've seen him play, the most aggressive I've seen him play, and with some of the highest technique that I've seen him play with. Coaches did a pretty good job. He's also very dedicated. He's been watching so many videos of like just kids on TikTok, different technique videos, and implementing them. He's got this really nice thing where he is inviting inside pressure on outside runs. That was not something that I taught him that we got to. So, and he's doing a really good job of using those techniques and walling kids off. So I'm very proud of the way he played, even though they did not finish a great year. My daughter, Aubrey, we talked about it a little bit. I think we maybe talked about it on the talk. She tried out for a travel soccer team. She made the travel soccer team. We found out after the fact that this travel soccer team is for kids that were born in 2016. Aubrey was born in December of 2017. She is still on the team because they want her.
Are you just going to keep that bit quiet?
I think that they're technically allowed to play up. They can't play down, but she is like at least a full year younger. So I think technically she's allowed to play up. So very proud of her for that as well.
Yeah, that is typically how it kind of goes, right? It'll be like 12U, so it's like 12 and under or something like that. And if the kid's able to play, they're able to play. So
yeah, so she's a little dog. She scored 2 goals yesterday in her rec league game.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's a dog. U Sports around this place are going crazy. They have been for a while. Yeah, so producer Amber's in here also dropping in. This is literal words that came from the head coach. She is too aggressive to play with the children at her age.
I'm going to say age?
Age. It's supposed to be age. Yeah, producer Amber there and there, fixing it up. So, yeah, super proud of her. I need to learn more about soccer because I feel like it's going to be a big part of my life for a long time. Now, obviously, I got a little bit the believe sign. I got here we go. I got the boys. You can't really see their faces anymore. From Ted Lasso flipping off Jamie Tott. I got to learn more soccer, but very proud of her. I got no other youth sports wise going on though. We got a little bit of a lull. I'm actually going to have G start doing some lifting. It's about that time. So
yeah, you're about there. I mean, he's getting to be that size, that age where, I mean, you got to not be too aggressive with it as he's
no.
going through puberty
We're
and stuff like that, 'cause
no
I get
one rep
affected,
maxing. We're
uh,
low weights, high reps. Start building
and
that
probably
endurance.
work a lot on flexibility with the kids maintaining flex because kids have insane flexibility, and as they get older, as we get older, you lose that flexibility, put on more muscle mass. But if you're able to maintain that flexibility, less injuries, more explosiveness, all that, so that'd be pretty good.
Hell yeah. Fucking Dr. Evo coming in here dropping some knowledge. I like it.
Hey, like it's always been a thought, kids of my own, I want to be able to help them achieve more than I could because at our age, when we were kids going through this stuff, it was like
We knew fuck
th-
all about what we
there
were
was
doing.
yeah, parents were like, go play sports, like you're not, really fully thinking through these processes. And meanwhile, you got Rob Gronkowski and the whole family eating 12 gallons of milk and
All
fucking
milk,
all
baby.
sorts of random shit throughout the week, not even thinking about it either. But it just happens to work out that's perfect for building superstar children. Um, yeah, you got to biohack a little bit.
Biohack a little bit. Aubrey got very lucky. I don't know how, but she got basically all of the athletic genes from me and Amber. She is so fucking fast, dude.
Yeah,
She might
it's
be
awesome,
faster than her brother.
man.
Yeah,
I,
but
I can see it. At least
yeah,
quicker.
yeah, for sure, quicker. The agility is no doubt there. But man, are we ready to start talking about some grown man adult football?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So we got that Jags Bears game going on. The Bears did end up scoring a touchdown there. They're now up 21-3. But with that, we'll roll into the rest of our games going into this morning. So here in a couple hours, we have the Washington Commanders going out to the Baltimore Ravens. Line is currently Ravens -6.5 on FanDuel, -118 odds, or -104 odds to give the points to the Commanders. Ravens, they actually played a fourth quarter last week. Were able to come from behind, beat the Bengals in that one. Commanders, on the other hand, have had 3 weeks in a row now of just kind of rolling over people on offense. So this game is, bearing out to be what looks to be a really fun one to watch here, with both teams having good records. Where are you going on this one, Mike?
Man, so I really like the way that the Commanders have found a way to keep Jaden Daniels clean in the pocket. His decision making has been really, really good. And we have seen at times where there have been some collapses by this Ravens team. Now, they are obviously a very, very good football team. They can go out and they can beat anybody. This Commanders defense is also supposed to be pretty fucking terrible. Now, if you turn on the tape from last week, they're going to look really good, even though they're fucking not really good. They're really bad. So this game, I think, is going to actually end up being close. So because it's a close game, in my eyes, a couple teams that are doing pretty well, 6.5 is way too much to give up. I know it's a rookie quarterback. I know Harbaugh and that Ravens defense can do some dangerous things to a rookie quarterback. But Jaden Daniels has shown and is showing, very similar to what CJ Stroud did last year, that he is above your typical rookie quarterback. So I think he keeps his team close. Commanders +6.5.
And I kind of went back and forth on this one because as good as Jaden Daniels has been playing, he still is playing way outside of the norm, way above the norm. And I expect kind of a regression to the mean, even closer to what CJ Stroud was doing, because Jaden Daniels' play right now is some of the best rookie quarterback play that we have seen. So you would expect a little bit of regression. You'd expect, like you said, that Commanders defense, it is very suspect. There are issues with it, but they haven't had to do as much because of the level of competition that they've been playing. And that when you start getting out to these bigger leads, it changes up the dynamic as well. You're forcing the other team into passing situations, and you can definitely cater your defense towards that. It can cover up some of the weaknesses to an extent. Um, that being said, it's like the Ravens, obviously, they put together a full game last week. Were able to have a good fourth quarter, show that they've got the guts for a comeback win like that. And on top of it, the Commanders, their defense is allowing the second most yards per carry of any defense out there. And the Ravens offense is predicated heavily on the run. They are putting up nothing but 200-yard rushing efforts every single week against teams that are better at the defending the run, not the fucking Bengals, because their defense is terrible too. But they are putting up legitimate rushing efforts every week. Derrick Henry is looking like Derrick Henry from like 5 years ago, where he's just kind of trampling over everybody. So it does feel like the Commanders, if they continue to hit that peak of what they've been doing on offense, this absolutely could be a very close game and a high scoring one at that, because there is definitely suspect parts of that Ravens defense. And it makes me like, I feel like the Ravens are going to win this one. It feels like a spot where the Ravens could cover the points even. But again, 6.5 points is super tough. I think this year on teams that are favored by 7 points or more, they are the underdog is 7-2 outright, which is insane for that largest spreads for teams who are doing that well. We're not at that 7-point mark here, so I'm going to go with the Commanders plus the 6.5. It does feel like this could be a very high scoring game and a closer one, and because of that, yeah, I feel like the Commanders could be within roughly that touchdown range of the Ravens.
3-4 points, somewhere right in there, man.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because, I mean, my gut is telling me that there should be a regression by Jaden and this team. Not that they're not going to be good and continue doing good, but he's just been way outperforming what you would expect these past 3 weeks. So if that ends up happening, this game could get way more out of hand. But for now, I'll stick with that pick. We're going Commies plus the points as well.
Commies plus the points. All right, brother. We're ready to roll into the next one.
Yes, sir. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. Saints fucked me last week. When going up against a Chiefs team that has injuries and everything, and they just couldn't make it happen. But hey, we have a new starting quarterback out there. Spencer Rattler is going to be your starter this week. Even though Jake Haener got some play last week after the oblique injury to Derek Carr, Rattler was the one that looked really good in the preseason. He's the one that I've been saying I think we could see him starting about halfway through the year. Well, injury happens. Now we're seeing him even earlier in this one. On the flip side, you got the Buccaneers, who lost a heartbreak game last week, a very, very close one down to the wire. But they still looked very good in that game. Right now, it is Bucks minus 3.5, 3 in the hook with minus 105 odds, or Saints plus 3.5. And I'm actually kind of surprised that the spread is this close in this one. What am I missing here, Mike?
Yeah, so I think maybe people are like, man, Spencer Rattler was pretty good during the preseason. This Saints offense has been explosive at times during the season.
Only the first 2 weeks.
I understand. I'm just trying to explain why this spread is so close, because I don't really know either, which is why I took my pick. I mean, I got the Bucks dropping 3.5, but I as well, because I got that at 105, minus 105 odds. So it's not even the true minus 110. So they're even thinking this thing is closer.
It's minus 105 to drop the points, minus 115 to give the points to the Saints. And if you look at the money line doesn't even necessarily make sense either. It's minus 178 if you want to take the Bucks, whereas the Ravens versus the Commanders, which I feel like could be a lot closer of a game. That game has a wider point spread, but it's minus 310 odds to take the Ravens on the money line. I feel like we're missing something here, despite the fact that it's the Saints that are troubled. The Saints have a banged up offensive line. The Saints are rolling out a rookie starting quarterback in his first NFL
this spread
real
is
game
suggesting
action.
that this game should be closer. I don't understand why. I don't, because Kamara is Is he even going in this game?
I believe he is, but he didn't look good last week. I mean, I don't even think he went over 30, 40 yards rushing. He still had an okay receiving day, which is what a Kamara kind of does, but it doesn't make sense to me. And typically in past years, when things don't make sense, we need to be rolling with the oppo. And that's what scares me here. But I think you and I are both on the same train of thought here with this one. Look, Saints offense has been bottom 5 in the league in their last 3 games after looking really good the first 2 weeks, but they had a tremendous tumble back down to earth to become the Saints who we thought that they were going to be. And then the Bucks on the flip side, they're 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 games versus the Saints. They kind of have their number. Everything is pointing Bucks here. So that's where I'm going. I can't get off of that.
Same, man. I can't do it either. Everything that Vegas is saying is suggesting that you go Bucks. But maybe that's why I'm sorry. That's saying to go
with the Saints.
Go Saints. Like the money is in the Saints. That's where you can make your money. Mm-hmm. But I'm going Bucks. Got to. Mike Evans has been an absolute fucking dog. Touchdown machine. Has kept me in a lot of my fantasy games, even though I have sucked dick in most of my fucking fantasy weeks as the 3rd highest scoring team, which pisses me off. I think the Bucks roll, man. I really do. And even going into New Orleans, the Bucks have had success.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Rashid Shaheed has shown that he can kind of just be down there available for deep passes all the time. But Olave hasn't been like a huge factor for the Saints so far. One thing that Spencer Rattler has done, he's come out and said, he's like, I just need to feed the ball to Olave. He's my dude. Like, he's a great receiver. We're going to continue getting him the ball. So you could see an uptick there potentially. I think like people are expecting there is definitely a negative connotation around Derek Carr. And after the first 2 weeks, that negative connotation kind of has held true. Like he looked a lot more like normal Derek Carr. Again, regression to the mean of what we're used to seeing. Rattler, for all of his issues in college and everything, he did look a lot better in the preseason. Being in an NFL offense around NFL players, he looked a lot better. So we could maybe see an uptick in this passing offense. So I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch and see if we do actually get some, rookie, bruises and stuff like that from having a Rattler in there. But I'm on the Buccaneers on this one. I think Bucky Irving's going to have a good game. Rashad White is banged up. We're seeing that timeshare in the backfield there for the Bucks increase a little more towards Bucky. So expect a good game from him. And I fully am on the Bucks on this one.
I mean, I got to go over there as well, man. It doesn't make sense to me. They just kicked our ass every time that's happened over the last couple of years. We'll see what happens today.
All righty. Next up, can't stall on this one anymore. We got the Cleveland Browns at the Philly Eagles. The line is currently Eagles -8.5 at -110 odds, or you can give the points to the Browns at -110 odds as well. Nick Chubb, I think I saw something about he's going to be active for this game.
Next week he will be active when we come home and play the Bengals. He will not be in Philly.
I thought I saw a report from Sports Illustrated yesterday saying that he will be active for this game.
Just happened.
It was yesterday. I'll let you talk about this game, and I'll pull this up on the Lineman Lounge page, see what it was that I had posted about it.
Yeah. Okay. So this game is going to be very, very tough. The Philly team, their defensive front is really fucking good, especially their interior defensive tackles. They are so good. Yeah. They're so fucking good. And the interior of our offensive line has been kind of dog shit. And by kind of, I mean complete dog shit. There have been games where they have done well. This last game, they played better. Last game was definitely Deshaun Watson's fault. Missed multiple reads. But the Eagles' defensive front is spectacular. They're a little weak in the back end. You know where we're not good at exploiting defenses? In the back end on their secondary, taking deep shots. Deshaun has not hit those at all. So it's we're in a bad spot. So there are reports, friend of the show, Nick Carnes, even has talked about it a few times this morning, that we are not going to see the offense that we have seen the last 5 weeks. We are throwing out Ken Dorsey's bullshit, and we are going back to Kevin's offense. If that is the case, I expect that there will probably be a little bit of an uptick in offensive performance because Kevin Stefanski takes away Deshaun's ability to make asinine decisions or no decision because it's all off of play action. It's all predicated on one thing looks like the other. And you have to make it look like that or you're going to fucking be complete dog shit. If that is the case and they change the playbook and they go to Kevin Stefanski's offense, I think there is a chance that we cover. I am not convinced that that is true. If that were the case, they would have just fired fucking Ken Dorsey. There would be no reason to have that man on the staff if we're not using any of his offense and we think that that's going to work. So I do not believe that that's going to be the case. I love the Browns. I will root for the Browns until the day I die. I will not pick the Browns against the spread until they score 20 fucking points, which is yet to happen. I'm going to drop the points. Eagles -8.5.
And that's, I was going to say, they haven't scored 20 yet on offense. You have to have some sort of changes there. Now, the reason why I think that Ken Dorsey could be on the team still and they'd be looking at some offensive changes is we have picked the scab off of firing NFL coaches. Robert Saleh gets canned last week after his team having issues and it not necessarily being his fault. And, you know, we've had our conversations about this. NFL media is still having plenty of conversations about Rodgers' involvement or lack of involvement and his resentment to the thoughts. All of that, which, you know, take it for what you will. I fully believe that he probably has sprinkled his own little fucking stuff in there. But that being said, like the scab has been picked. Mm-hmm. Firings are ripe and ready to happen right now on some of these teams that are having issues, particularly with your Browns. Now, Ken Dorsey is an obvious option of someone to fire. I could see them going with a Stefanski playbook or with switching things up on the offensive side, including Jameis time potentially, despite the whole, hey, we can't start anyone but Deshaun.
This is the week. This is the week that it could happen.
Now, if things, let's say you guys switch things up and the offense looks better and it's Stefanski's playbook and maybe Jameis goes out some and plays better, but you guys still lose, they might still be looking for a fire, and that's why Dorsey's on the squad. Because then he's a scapegoat, right? Yeah. And that's that's another smart play by Stefanski at that point to hopefully keep his job. Be like, look, I am making changes. I changed the quarterback, I changed the system, and I fired a guy. Can't get rid of me. Give me another week. Give me another week or something like that. Like, that's where it could be happening. That being said, like, look, the Eagles are getting their receivers back. Devonta Smith, AJ, both should be back. It makes it tough. It makes it really tough to
yeah, it does.
Sirianni also kind of back against the wall with how bad his team has been playing. It's like you go
Sirianni in position to possibly be a fire candidate if they continue to trend downward.
You go out last year and you fire both your offensive defensive coordinator because they're not doing good. Now you bring in new guys and they're still not doing good. Now it's the coach. Now it's like you are looking at the head coach. Yep. That's where the finger gets pointed. And
Stefanski is actually probably less on the hot seat nationally than Sirianni is. If these
nationally, yes, because look,
Cleveland,
a lot of
we're ready to fire.
I think most people nationally know, like, Stefanski had this situation kind of laid in his lap, Deshaun and everything. It's more of a Deshaun problem and a front office problem than a Stefanski problem with you guys. That being said, Stefanski's still obviously a candidate for firing because those guys above him don't want to just fire themselves, right? They're going to look at someone else to be their scapegoat as well. So look, I'm going Oppo here. I'll have the balls for it. I'm taking Browns plus the 8.5. I don't like it at all, obviously, like for all the reasons that we've talked about. But it seems like every once in a while we'll get a little bit of juice from Deshaun. No, I don't think he's that great. But like if Stefanski plays that playbook, if Jameis gets in there and we see a little bit of bump, your guys' defense is still legit, right? This Eagles team has been underproducing for what they should be doing. Like, yeah, they are getting those receivers back, and that's very scary. But you guys have the defense where you can stay competitive with that to their offense. If you guys are able to get a little something clicking on offense, you guys could stay within 8.5 points, a little bit more than a touchdown in this game. I feel dirty doing it. I don't like it. But when I bet Oppo on your Browns to what you do, I tend to get that pick right. So I'm going with it on this one. I'm going to take the Browns plus the 8.5, and I'm going to be watching very carefully on this game to see how bad I fuck myself over. I'm honestly not enjoying my picks this week. I've got written down. It makes me feel like I could have like a really, really terrible record after this week. So we'll see how this runs.
Okay, great. Build confidence with the people for sure.
I will be nothing if not honest with.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you'll get on this show. Now I do have one last wild conspiracy theory because I feel like that's what's happening. That is what is taking place in Cleveland. Is conspiracy theories about who's doing what, so things can happen this way. I have one final one. Dummy thick idiot alert. Thank you. I believe that there is a chance that if they do revert to Kevin Stefanski's offense, it is so Kevin Stefanski can make Deshaun Watson look bad.
Make him what?
To make him look bad. To make him look like shit. Look, this is my.
You don't need to do that. It's already happening.
That's his offense. This is my offense. And he still looks like shit. We gave him an option to stand and fucking shotgun 80% of the goddamn time and try to read a defense and run RPOs, and he couldn't do it. And then we reverted back to a 2 tight end system where we ran the ball, we zone blocked and used play action, but it required him to turn his back to the defense. So, I mean, a guy who's already struggling to read a defense, now he's going to turn his back to the defense. That's going to be dangerous. So he can actually bench him without anybody getting fired and bring in Jameis. So that way when when Nick Chubb comes back next week, we don't have to deal with Nick Chubb being sullied by Deshaun Watson. Tinfoil hat, baby.
And look, we do have a full slate of games to go over here, minus our bye week games and everything. But I think we still have to kind of get into it. Like, this is going to be a recurring conversation, how to move on from Deshaun Watson. Yeah. And now I've seen some other interesting things, TikToks, other stuff. The possibility of, let's say, we find a team that has an inordinate amount of cap space and you trade them Deshaun Watson with a heavy hunk of that contract, plus your first round pick this upcoming season, and maybe as a sweetener, a player on top of that. Do you think that that's truly feasible? Because I feel like that is the quickest way to get out from under that issue. We saw Brock Osweiler.
I was going to say, this is an NBA style trade. This is an NBA salary dump style trade. There's only 2 teams that have ever been in one of these types of trades. It is the Denver Broncos and the motherfucking Cleveland Browns when we traded for Brock Osweiler. It is entirely possible that could work. It is not technically against the rules, even though people threw a fucking bitch fit about it when we did it last time. We basically bought a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Didn't really fucking turn out exactly how we wanted. But it was a cool thing that we did, a way to try to improve the team. I think that it would be a fantastic idea to package. If we're worried about salaries and rebuilding a squad, you could go ahead and toss Deshaun, our first-round pick, and a Denzel Ward in a nice little trade package, get back a comp 6th-round pick to a team like, I don't know, the Panthers, who are also going to be in a rebuild mode, looking for a quarterback. Now, granted, we're going to lose another first-round pick, but this team's not ready to compete just yet, in my opinion, anyways. that 2026 pick, where there's an Arch Manning possibly, or whoever available. A lot of guys available in that draft. We can reset and reload. I love that idea, but will the powers that be actually say, okay, we made a mistake, we're going to do this? No, because that deal, I think, also gets them fired. It would be sweet, but I think it gets them fired as well.
It very well could, but like everyone's already looking at getting fired in this one. Like you have to find a way to salvage this somehow. The optics are never going to be good, but the optics are already at nearly an all-time low. It's already being considered one of the, if not the worst trade in NFL history.
In sports history. It is up there in sports history with the worst transactions of all time.
As a Browns ownership, Browns front office, I think it's like, hey, we pull the trigger if you can get this done type of situation. The real question is, can you convince another team to take on that salary and all that's involved with that? When you do have a team that has a lot of salary cap space that is in a rebuild mode, the extra first round pick helps them. Look, like for you guys, a first round pick this year would be great, of course, but the boon of getting rid of that contract and Deshaun Watson and all the issues that, like, kind of a fresh start, and then you don't have to trade away a Myles Garrett or something like that, or sit in purgatory for 2 to 3 years.
Somebody, we're going to have to lose one guy
for sure, but I don't know that it has to be.
It would be Denzel Ward, not Myles Garrett. Should not be Myles Garrett.
I don't know that it has to be Myles Garrett. I think he's the one guy that, again, that we kind of talked about. He's like, it's the player you want to keep on your team through thick and thin is Myles Garrett. He is Cleveland Browns. So, like, if you're able to, yes, part with one player, you will probably find a little bit more salary cap relief from that as well, if you want to look at it that way. But I mean, that's Denzel the only way to really.
That's my logical thinking is Denzel Ward, who has had up and down times. You know what? Here's the thing, though. Denzel Ward's going to be a tough sell because he also has the concussion issues.
I think you can still get away with it. Probably. But at the end of the day, like, that's if I am the Browns, it's rather than 3 more years of hurt, essentially, I will take one on the chin for 1 more year.
Yeah.
Next year, you are able to actually, without a first round pick, look towards the future still.
Yes.
Which, if you guys
linemen and 2 and 3 and 4 and fucking build in the trenches for a year in the middle rounds with offensive and defensive linemen, which is exactly where you're supposed to fucking find those guys, unless they're a premier talent, like a first round tackle. But that's when you build this team and then you attack quarterback.
And I don't know what sort of immediate salary cap relief that provides you, but I would have to imagine there's some, and you will be able to make a little bit more moves in free agency from doing that. Like, it sounds fantastic to me.
You would probably still have to eat a portion of that contract from Deshaun.
For sure. You guys have guarantees and stuff that are in there that you're going to still feel the effects, but it will be nowhere near what it is right now. And at least mentally and emotionally, you can start to move on and rebuild from that process. I think that's the only way that these guys are looking at possibly saving their jobs doing that. But the real tough sell, I think, is, can you find another team willing to do that with you? And I feel like a lot of teams are going to be willing to sit back and say, the headache ain't worth the first round pick. And why not? The Browns have one of the premier defenses right now in the league. Let's just let them fucking stew in their shit.
I agree. But there are a couple of teams who are already in a really bad spot. Your Panthers, for example.
Not my Panthers.
Well, not your Panthers, but
the royal we.
The royal we, yes, the proverbial. They would make a ton of sense because they are so far away from competing that it wouldn't do anything for them. And the rookie quarterback, the guy they have under contract at rookie quarterback, is already proven that he can't play. Right? So why bring another rookie quarterback into a bad situation? You let Deshaun go out there. He gets his fucking money. You eat a couple years of cap space. You build that team for the future. You move some other – you do what you got to do.
Add Bryce like Young into your trade.
I mean, I'll take Bryce Young right now. I just want to see anybody else but Deshaun play quarterback. I want to see where the problem lies. We can't figure out what the problem is unless we start changing shit. That's literally, it's like a scientific project, motherfuckers. There's a control. We need to have the control, and then we got to change pieces. I don't understand why we're just rolling the same shit out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. I'm hoping for you guys today we do see a swap at quarterback and some uplift there. Obviously, I hope that happens because I took your Browns plus the points. All right, with that, we can move on to our next game here. We have the Colts at the Titans. Titans are favored by 1.5 points, expected to be a close one here. Minus 120 odds for Tennessee, minus 102 for the Colts. Have we gotten official word yet if Richardson is going to be starting this one? I know that he was out there practicing. Reports from Colts beat say that he looks like he's practicing unencumbered. That being said, you still would probably want to go with Flacco. I'm sure the Titans would love if Richardson was out there playing today.
Yeah. So, okay, here we go. 18 minutes ago, Tom Pelissero says Joe Flacco will start for the Colts today at Tennessee. Anthony Richardson had practiced all week, but will serve as the emergency third.
All right. And look, that definitely caters towards what you're going to be picking in this game.
Glad I already picked what I picked.
Yeah, look, it is a divisional game. The Colts are 0-2 this season in divisional games. Their defense kind of looks atrocious. But now we do know that Flacco is going to be going out there. He does provide them a little bit of boost. Alex Pierce is down there somewhere, right? Just fucking huck it down to Pierce. Tennessee also has won their last 7 against the spread when they're coming off of a bye week. Yes, new coach regime, a lot of new players in this team, but in general, the Titans do good coming off of a bye. So for me in this one, I'm going to be taking the Titans. I'm going to drop the points. I expect to see a big game from Calvin Ridley in this one. Callahan specifically came out and said we need to find a way to feed the ball to Calvin Ridley. I'm expecting them to throw a lot of targets his way. And I don't know that this Colts defense is going to be able to stop anything. Look, Will Levis is going to be out here starting for the Titans. That's always some weird variability. Could be interesting. I think the hot pick is going to be for the Colts here because Flacco's starting, and it's fun to take Flacco in that situation. But Titans defense is legit. They're going to be able to provide some issues. Jonathan Taylor not going for the Colts as well. Another Trey Sermon game. So I'm expecting to see a little bit of uplift from the bye week for the Titans here. Don't like it. Like I said, not liking a lot of my picks this week, but I'm going to take the Titans dropping the points in this one.
Okay, Titans minus 1.5. So I love the way that this show, the layout kind of shaked out because we got the sandwich of the Browns right in between Baker and the Bucks, where I picked Baker, and the Bucks to drop 3.5, and then Joe Flacco and the Colts, where I'm picking them plus 1.5. I actually got them plus 2.5 this morning, because why wouldn't we want to make it look like I'm pumping a narrative? Not planned, but I'm taking the Colts. Joe Flacco starting. He's going to score points. They are going to score points. And I believe that Will Levis will continue to do unhinged Jay Cutler things and probably make a massive mistake and cost the Titans a game. Colts plus 1.5.
All right, and look, it makes sense. Like I told you, I'm not truly liking my picks this week, but we're rolling with it. Gotta. It's not the Oppo pick week. It's not Fade Evo pick week or anything like that. It's just we're going with weird gutsy calls here. Next up, Houston Texans playing at the New England Patriots. Texans are favored minus 6.5 according to FanDuel at minus 115 odds, or you can give the points to the Pats minus 105. Drake May, your new starter out there in New England, at least for this week. We'll see what's going on with that. Texans, they are 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 road games as a favorite. So despite still being a good team and playing well, they are not good against the spread. Also, I mean, this Texans team, I think they have not played up to the expectations so far this year.
Not even close.
Like they're good, but they are playing a lot of teams a lot closer. This is what kind of happens. Like we'll see teams all of a sudden jump up, become good, and now the pressure is different. You are playing against teams that don't think they're just going to walk all over you and don't give you credit. Like you have teams truly preparing for you. Nico Collins on IR. That is a big loss for this Texans team.
And
Talked about it last week. When Collins goes out, the passing game changes. Like he's a big target, and Diggs and Dell should be able to do something out there, but it's still a tough spot when you don't have Nico out there. Joe Mixon is set to play this game. You might see that running game come back into the fold for the Texans, which would be a nice little boost. But biggest thing for me is Drake May is going to be starting for this Patriots team. What are we going to see out there? Jacoby Brissett has not been playing good.
No,
but Drake May, he's a rookie quarterback who didn't win out that
high risk, high reward, man.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him.
He has legs. He can escape the pocket a little bit, run a little bit, more so than Jacoby could. So I think that they will hopefully maybe utilize his feet a little bit, move the pocket, some things to make it easier on Drake May, get him on the move out to his right. Some easy completions. I think that they can make something work here.
I think he's going to be running regardless because I think D'Amico's probably going to be gearing up a lot of blitzes for him. Expect a big day from Danielle Hunter to be getting after Drake May and getting some sacks. But I think May is going to be using his legs a lot, whether he wants to, whether it's designed or not. That's part of my Lineman Lounge parlay actually is a Drake May play, which, always scary with a rookie that you haven't ever seen out there yet. But this
don't count against rushing yards though.
Yeah. I'm going to be going with the Texans in this one. I can't trust the Patriots, especially with the rookie quarterback out there. Maybe we see some big boost from Drake May going out, but I just don't think that they have the offensive talent for it. I've said all along I'm very scared and apprehensive about putting a rookie quarterback out in this sort of a situation. I understand that you drafted a guy 1 overall, and if he can't mentally take what's going on in the situation, maybe he shouldn't have been your, first, pick. But in the same situation, you also are putting a guy out there with basically no help and expecting him to float or somehow pick this team up. That's super scary to me. I'm going to take the Texans. I'm going to drop the points. I think the Texans I don't want to call it a bounce back game because they did get the win last week, but I think that they're going to try to put a statement game out there to say, hey, we are better than we've been playing, and we're going to kind of excel against a team that is much lesser than us while we've been playing other teams that are good competition for the most part and keeping it close. So Texans minus the points for me on this one.
Yeah, going the same way. Texans minus a 1.5. You brought up Nico Collins, not going to be there. Huge loss. In my opinion, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Probably without question at this point. And he's not 5. So losing Nico Collins is a massive loss. However, the Texans will get a boon back on offense in terms of their rushing game. Joe Mixon will be back in this game. Joe Mixon looked really good early in the season. If they can get the running game going with Mixon and maybe Pierce, Mixon back into that rotation, I think the Texans can really have a nice offensive day. So I'm going also Texans minus 6.5.
All righty. And with that, we'll move on to our next game, but a quick update here on the Chicago-Jacksonville game. Chicago just now scores another touchdown. We got 12 and a half minutes left in the fourth. They are up, 34?
10. Yeah,
34-10. Yeah, they've been rolling now. I bet it's not looking good on this one. Yeah, 34-10 for the Bears right now. DeAndre Swift having himself a little day. Next game, we have the Cardinals at the Packers. Packers favored minus 5.5 points at minus 110 odds, and you can give the points to the Cards for minus 110 odds as well. Packers eke out a win there last week versus a Rams team that had, basically no one playing. They're just continuing to be demolished by injuries, especially on the defensive side. Cardinals, on the other hand, come from behind, are able to beat the 49ers in San Fran, and look like they can compete with some of the best out there at times when things are rolling good with Kyler. Also, you have the Jordan Love question again. Like, there were times Jordan Love looked okay, and there are times when he's going to get sacked for a safety and he throws pick 6. One of the things that Jordan Love did last year was not turn the ball over very much, despite being inaccurate. He was inaccurate to both teams. This year, he's inaccurate, but things are not going his way as much. He is having those turnovers. He is putting his team in bad spots. Also, Green Bay doesn't really have a great pass rush right now, which is going to allow Kyler to kind of move around at his own will, not be under pressure, and possibly take advantage of that situation. Cards are playing their second straight roadie. They could be coming down from that emotional high in that comeback win versus the 49ers. That's what kind of scares me about this game for the Cardinals. But look, Jordan Love, his health is probably getting better, but he still doesn't look fantastic. His aptitude and accuracy is a question mark, as it is every week until we see otherwise. And for what it's worth, the Packers have only kind of beaten teams that are shit or in a bad spot. They beat the Colts, they beat the Titans, and they beat the Rams. Two of those games with Malik Willis,
Rams, right?
but it was a Rams team that had, not a ton of offensive firepower and a defense that was reeling, and they weren't winning that game the whole time. Like the Rams were in it. That's part of the McVay factor, but still, like the Packers, I think, have the capability to be pretty decent on offense and pretty decent on defense. But you don't know what you're going to get week in and week out. The hook here, I love. I'm taking the Cardinals plus the points in this one. I would love to see Kyler be able to just run all over this team, and a good day from James Conner as well to set the ground game.
Man, I am going the same way. Cardinals plus 5.5 to me was a slam dunk. They have been competitive basically every week. Kyler is back. Kyler is healthy as fuck. He looks like he's playing pretty well. Not necessarily throwing for the yards that we would hope Kyler would throw for, but he's still building a rapport with these receivers. This is almost an entirely new crop of wide receivers that Kyler is dealing with. So he is still getting acclimated with them. We have the questions on Jordan Love. His accuracy, decision-making has always been okay-ish. He's trying to make plays that I'm not sure he's capable of making because he did have some success last year. So the Cardinals plus 5.5, I really like that. They're going to have to run the ball really effectively. The Packers are. But I think the Cardinals will score enough to keep this thing close. Maybe they don't win, but there's no way I think that the Packers are a touchdown better than the Cardinals at this point. So Cardinals plus 5.5.
All righty. Next up, we got the Chargers at the Broncos. Chargers are favored in this one, -3 points and -104 odds. Broncos.
Sorry, one quick thing before we roll into this game. I'm going to go ahead and show the people the picks for the morning games because that was our last morning game.
Oh, this is technically an afternoon game. I told you I can't read this FanDuel. It's weird how they put that underneath.
All right, guys. So morning games. We got Jags plus 1.5 for both of us going on right now. That's not going to fucking hit, Evo. I might just mark those red as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
However, we both are on the Commanders plus 6.5. Bucks -3.5. I got the Eagles -8.5. You took my Browns plus 8.5. I appreciate the vote of confidence. I don't know why you did it.
I don't know if it's a vote of confidence.
Yeah. On to the next one. I got Colts plus 1.5. You're going Titans -1.5. We are both on the Texans -6.5. Both on the Cardinals plus 5.5. That's your morning slate from the Lineman Lounge. All right, brother.
All right. So now we have Chargers and Broncos. Chargers favored -3, -104 odds. You can give the points to the Broncos for -118 odds. Broncos last week looked pretty good, like a much better game from Bo Nix versus the Raiders. Broncos defense is legitimate. I mean, I don't think there's any doubting that. They're very good. You're going up against a Chargers team coming off of a bye week here that I think Herbert might be able to look a little bit better in, but they did have to, I believe, IR Gus Edwards. So Kamani Vidal, the rookie running back, is going to be suited up for this game. We might get to see him a little bit more. I'm kind of excited. I think that he could actually be a long-term solution at running back. Not that J.K. Dobbins has been bad for the Chargers, but Kamani Vidal, obviously younger, less injury prone. Could be a fun little sneaky play in fantasy if you want to try to get a long play running back by later in the year on a team that loves to run the ball. But that's kind of where it's going to come down to. Is it's going to be Harbaugh's offense versus this Broncos defense, and seeing if Bo Nix has any more juice. I'm not sure if he does. I don't know. This is an interesting one to me.
I think that last game. I think that's probably peak rookie Bo Nix. He was effective. He still didn't necessarily push the ball down the field, but Bo Nix is probably not going to be that guy. He is like Alex Smith light. Bo Nix is Alex Smith light, especially in his early days when he would not push the ball down the field. If they can run an effective game plan, they can maybe make some things happen, but he needs big plays by his playmakers. The Chargers have a pretty good defense. They're going to run the ball. But I got to tell you, that Broncos defense has shown a lot of fucking grit. They are playing really well. 3 points is my least favorite fucking spread of all of the point spreads because it lends itself to a push. And nobody fucking likes a tie. Nobody likes a tie. I'm going to take the points for the Broncos. Home team getting 3. I'm going to ride with the Broncos. This is a close game, in my opinion. Tough game to call. The run game could be very dynamic for the Chargers. I like J.K. Dobbins. The rookie will be interesting to see what he can get done. But that defense from the Broncos is pretty legit. I'm going to go with them back-to-back weeks. Dude, we got killed on fucking TikTok. Well, you got killed. We both got killed because I talked a lot of shit about Bo Nix. I still believe those things about Bo Nix, but I'm going to rock with the Broncos for one more week if we're talking money. So Broncos +3.
All righty. I'm going to do the same. Look, the Broncos are on a 3-game streak right now, which is wild. Because I don't think that they are that team. I think that they are playing a certain level of competition that allows them to have a 3-game streak going here. But when you look at the over-under 35.5 points, Vegas is expecting this to be a low-scoring one as well. So when you're going to get 3 points in a low-scoring game, that puts you within the margin of error to get the win on this one. So, yeah, Broncos plus the points in this one. I'll go that way as well, especially with them being the home team.
Yep. All right.
All right, next up we have the Steelers and Raiders. Just talked a little bit about the Raiders there. Not looking good against the Broncos last week, and Aiden O'Connell is now your starter. We got the Steelers -3 points as the favorite, -118 odds, or you can give the points to the Raiders, -104 odds. This one's a really easy one for me. I'm taking the Steelers, dropping the points. They held out with the fucking Cowboys last week, who have a much more capable offense than the Raiders do, especially with Aiden O'Connell, who I think Aiden O'Connell is your classic backup quarterback. He can go in, he can run an offense. He's not going to do anything super special for you, and he might have some hiccups where he turns the ball over. They just need someone to go out there and run the offense, is what it seems like. Gardner's the variability guy, and O'Connell is the just run the offense guy to me. And sorry, Vegas fans, if you don't like that. I know some Vegas fans out here are fans of O'Connell. I just think that he's kind of milquetoast. On the flip side, Steelers, like I said, they kept it kind of close with the Cowboys last week up until the end. Justin Fields getting the start again, even though Russ is, I believe, going to be suiting up in this one. Not getting the start. I think Justin Fields has a really good day against this Raiders defense. I think he's going to run the ball all over. I think it's going to look more akin to what we had 2 weeks ago from Justin Fields. So, yeah, I'm absolutely going to drop the points in this one. It's showing to be a low-scoring game as well, over under of 36.5. I think that this has a potential to hit the over for what it's worth. I think that we could see like 20-17, something like that. Yeah.
All right. In a Steelers game, we're seeing an over. I applaud the gusto, the gut sack that takes.
And look, Steelers, they're 11-4 against the spread and straight up in their last 15 road games. They play good on the road. And with O'Connell starting, I don't think that we're going to see a big uptick or boost or anything from that Raiders offense. So, yeah, taking the Steelers.
Okay. So I'm actually going to go the opposite direction. I think that this Raiders team, without the giant swings that have been caused by Gardner Minshew at times, are a better team that they have shown. Aiden O'Connell has the vote of confidence from Devontae Adams. Could be the only reason that Devontae would stay. Has said that likes Aiden O'Connell. I don't know how serious he is. Maybe he's just being there for his dude.
Maybe it's because all the other teams that he would consider going to are kind of shit too.
Yeah, they're also dog shit. But listen, I think Aiden O'Connell actually does give this team a boost. Aiden O'Connell took this team on a fucking run last year with Pierce as their head coach. How he lost quarterback competition, whatever, fine. I think he's going to come in and he's going to prove, like, I'm supposed to be the fucking Raiders quarterback. I think they get a boost. The Steelers team, I am not sold on, man. They have been on a downward slide. I think that continues. Raiders, -3, baby.
All righty. Next up, Falcons and Panthers in Carolina. Falcons are favored -6.5 at -104 odds. You can give the points to the Panthers -118. Atlanta Falcons defense.
Hey, Evo, before we start diving into this, we had a comment come in here, brother, and I want to make sure that we hit it. Abby Barton, thank you for stopping in. Did you miss our thoughts on the Browns and Patriots games? You did. But we can go ahead and toss you a quick little recap. I'm a huge Browns fan. Don't like them to win today. I don't like them to win at any point that they continue to roll the same shit out. And I think the Eagles probably cover. So I went Eagles -8.5. Evo decided he was going to be contrarian. When Browns +8.5, likes to bet against me on the Browns because he seems to hit. And he doesn't necessarily like that bet. In terms of the Patriots,
it's a scary one. It's a scary one for sure. But 8.5 points, like you might be able to get away with that.
Yeah. In terms of the Patriots game, this one was honestly pretty simple to call. The Texans are a much better team. We're excited to see what Drake May can do for the Patriots. We expect him to probably run a lot. It's part of Evo's parlay, which we should also get to before the late slate. And then but we can't pick the Patriots to win. Can't pick them to cover either because they have not done a good job of that. So we're both on the Texans. But Abby, thank you very much. With that, Evo, let's roll. Let's show the Lineman Lounge parlays, and then we'll roll into the second half.
Alrighty. I think all my parlays actually generally have been gone over. I know some of yours go with some late games, but
one late game with Jared Goff.
Yep. So and I understand why you're going with that one. Mike's got Jared Goff going over 245.5 passing yards.
That's way too low. That's way too low for Jared Goff.
Getting an anytime touchdown against your Browns. And Joe Mixon over 51.5 rushing yards in his return. That's 499 odds. For me, Tyjae Spears, 3 or more receptions. It was he's been consistently getting about 3 to 4 receptions per game, so that seemed like an easy one to me. Calvin Ridley, again, we were told that he was going to be garnering more targets from the head coach. The head coach is calling the offensive plays, and you're getting Levis out there just kind of hucking the ball around, so you might as well get Ridley more involved, get him 4 more catches. And then Drake May, he's going to be scrambling around a lot, whether he wants to or not. I think 27.5 rushing yards is easily doable for a guy that's considered to be a dual threat and going to be having to take off with the ball. That's 563 odds here. Now, I do have 2 other bets that were in consideration for this that I had almost put in there as my parlay. They didn't have as much juice as the 563 odds here, but I'll quick roll through them just in case the people want it. Tank Dell, 50-plus yards receiving. Drake May, again, over 27.5 rushing yards. And Bucky Irving, 60 or more rushing yards, kind of probably being the primary back with Rashad beat up there. Tank Dell getting more work because he's getting around 45 yards already and per game. And then you have Nico Collins being out. The ball's got to go somewhere. That bet right there will net you 473 odds. Or you could do a Jaden Daniels 200 plus yards passing, Jamar Chase over 80 yards receiving, James Conner 70 yards rushing, and that's 422 odds. I did put a little bit, you just sprinkled a little bit on all those in my sports book today, but I gave you guys the plus of 563 odds here on receptions from Tajay Spears, Calvin Ridley, and Drake May running around a little bit.
Very nice. I'm actually about to come up 17 yards short because Tank Bigsby's not going to run the ball anymore unless I get some garbage time yards for a parlay this morning. But I do love this comment here coming in from Cliff. He's going to parlay our parlays. I would love to know what those odds come out to be, Cliff. If you put those together, please drop in the comments here what that odd come out to. Because, listen, we've struggled at times this year. Struggled a lot. If we both hit our parlays, that'd be great. But if we hit both of our parlays and somebody parlays our parlays, I want to know how much money we can make that man.
That could be a good one.
That'd be a nice hit. Joe Rockstar popping in here. Niners back on top of the West. I had your boys, Joe, dropping the points. Evo, no faith. No faith. Took the Seahawks.
Yeah. What can I say? It's not, the week has not started off well. I'm about to be 0-2 on the week so far. It's just the way
I'm just gonna mark these fuckers red right now because the Jags are not coming back.
I mean, they would have to put up 19 points to tie right now in just under 7 minutes. So it's possible, but it's the Jags. But back to our game that we were going to be talking about here: Falcons at the Panthers. Falcons favored -6.5 points at -104 odds. Panthers, you can get give them the points at -118 odds. All 5 of Atlanta's games this year have been one possession games. They've been playing people close. Kirk Cousins special there. But the Falcons, on the other hand, their defense, no pressure. They have had less sacks as a team than Dexter Lawrence of the Giants has had on his own as a defensive tackle.
As a D tackle, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Dexter Lawrence is having a historic year, but there's other people out there that have had more sacks than Dexter Lawrence. And we're not even comparing that. Just the Falcons team, their defense as a whole, cannot get after the quarterback. That'll allow Andy Dalton to sit back, maybe make some plays. Falcons have been playing on turf for the most part. Now they're going out here playing on real grass in Carolina. Will that matter? I don't know. I'm looking for reasons to try to feel good about taking the Panthers in this one. And Cliff, plus 3,761 odds for the parlayed parlays. I'd put $1 on that.
You know what? I'm gonna drop 10. I'm gonna drop $10 on that.
That wouldn't be terrible. And look, my parlay, at least, those have hit about 75% of the time this year. All 3 of those things individually. So obviously I don't know about Drake May. That's the one. That's the one kind of guesstimate. So we'll see how that goes here. It might be worth throwing a little bit of cha-ching on that at plus 3,761 odds. Back to this Carolina Falcons game, though. Look, the Falcons are a better team. They have a better offense. They've been showing to be able to go out there and compete. And I still think people are kind of sleeping on the Panthers a little bit. The Panthers have no defense for sure, which plays right into the Falcons' hands. And it makes it really scary to drop these points because maybe the Falcons are sleeping on them. I don't know. What are you doing with this one, Mike?
I'm going Falcons -6.5, man. I told you earlier in the season, I think the Panthers are one of the worst teams in football. When Bryce Young was playing, they were the worst team in football. Now that Andy Dalton is playing, they're one of the worst teams in football. There's not a huge boost, but there is a boost. We saw fucking Bryce Young come back in last week. There is nothing that I like more than betting against the Panthers right now because it's pretty fucking good. At one time, I bet the Panthers have fucked me. So, yeah, Falcons -6.5. An offense that is trying to find a rhythm coming up against a defense that can't play any fucking defense. This has a recipe for disaster for the Panthers.
I feel like that statement works for both teams.
Yeah.
An offense trying to find a rhythm and a defense that can't stop shit. Are you talking about the Falcons or the Panthers?
Which team do you have more faith in those circumstances? The Panthers or the Falcons?
Probably the Falcons with the players that they have on offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, everything's telling me to drop the points with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Fuck it.
Hey,
Panthers plus the point. Panthers plus the points. Big ball play, and it's going to be a kick in the balls probably. We'll take Panthers plus the points. I hate it. I fucking hate it.
Is it because the Panthers fucked us last week when we both took them plus 4.5?
Maybe. I don't know. Fuck it. I hate the Panthers, but we're going to give them the points here.
All right.
Disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting play. All right. Next up, we have the.
Are you sure you don't want to talk yourself?
Nope. No, we're taking the Panthers plus the points. I'm not fucking moving off of it. God, nasty. We're taking the next game, Detroit Lions going out there to the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are not favored at home. You can give them 3 points for -105 odds, or you can drop 3 points for the Lions -115 odds. This is probably going into your parlay for a certain reason. Jared Goff playing in a dome does really well. Cowboys have lost 3 straight games at home. Lions pass defense and their pass rush in general is still pretty suspect, but Goff is playing indoors. Goff plays really well indoors. We saw that the last time that he was out there where he was basically perfect. Cowboys, though, are 10-1 against the spread coming off a win when they are an underdog in the following game. That's a really highfalutin stat there. I figured that one out. The Lions are the better team here. We talked shit about the Cowboys a lot. Cowboys absolutely could be dropping this one at home. I don't know. Where are you going with this one, Mike?
The Lions are a far superior team. They just re-signed their starting running back, giving them a solid two-headed monster in that backfield for quite some time. They got this year plus 2 more. I love Jared Goff in a dome. I love Jared Goff, dude. Jared Goff is the most profitable quarterback to bet on in the NFL over the last fucking decade. Like, Jared Goff is that dude. There is no way I'm going Cowboys. I do not like Dak. I do not like their run game at all. Dowdle shows up and then disappears. The corpse of Ezekiel Elliott is still bouncing around, but not getting in the fucking end zone.
According to Jerry, they're just resting Zeke.
Whatever. For fucking what? It doesn't make any sense. I do not like this Cowboys team. Lions dropping 3, expect them to win by 7.
Yeah, I'm dropping the points as well for the Lions. Lions obviously way better on offense in all facets. Their defense, while they do have struggles, is okay. Flip side, Dallas Cowboys, they aren't going to have Micah Parsons out there. No Dexter Lawrence, or not Dexter Lawrence. Who's the other fucking D lineman that's out?
Mozzie, is it
no, Mozzie? Not Mozzie Smith. Fuck. Can't think of his name. Either way, they aren't going to have pass rush today. Marshawn Nealand also put on IR. They're going to have no pass rush. No one is going to be pressuring Jared Goff when he has to go back and pass, which means we could be looking at another situation where he's throwing perfect again, indoors in a dome. Unfortunately, Dallas Cowboys going to lose 3 straight at home dating back to last year, or 4 straight at home dating back to last year. Now, Detroit Lions dropped the points on this one.
All right. Lions -3. I still wish that there was a hook somewhere in there. We have a lot of 3s. Broncos, Raiders, Lions, all 3 points. A lot of chances for pushes, and I don't fucking like that.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't like if it was -3.5 for Detroit. I'd feel a little bit worse about it, but I still feel good about Detroit winning this game. Next up, we have Sunday Night Football. Bengals at the Giants. Someone scheduled this one out very well for Sunday Night Football. Get 2 awesome teams out there. I mean, for what it's worth, like the Giants actually put up a good fight last week. Bengals showed a lot of good offense playing the Ravens. So maybe we have a little bit more oomph in this one. Daniel Jones, finally hitting the deep ball. Like, that's a rarity. Probably not going to be something that you see super often. But Malik Neighbors wasn't out there. He was spreading the ball around a lot. We're not going to see Malik Neighbors again. He's too busy at Travis Scott concerts, nursing that concussion. Devin Singletary, I believe, also going to be out. Tyrone Tracy, my dude, probably going to be getting a lot of work out there. And this Giants offense is going up against a Bengals defense, which is devoid of pass rush as well. Trey Hendrickson is out there not doing a whole lot else otherwise on defense. That's going to allow Daniel Jones to not be getting pressured as much, not seeing the ghosts. Maybe he can slowly start to pick things apart against that Bengals defense. Flip side, Joe Burrow and that Bengals offense, they look legit. Again, they look like they're doing the normal Bengals thing. But the Giants do have an okay average defense. Like their front seven is good. They're going to be able to get some pressure on them at the end of the day. So as of right now, the line is Bengals -3.5 at -118 odds. Giants +3.5 -104 odds. It makes sense that the Bengals are favored in this one, but this is a game being played in New York. A Bengals team that has not done well at all this year. They're 1-4.
1-4.
And
1-4 Bengals.
Defense is atrocious. I'm going Giants plus the points in this one. I do think that the Bengals could just completely outpace the Giants. Like they absolutely could outpace the Giants, but I think the Giants are going to be able to keep this one a little bit closer, and they have a chance to win this one again.
My dude, hey, finally we come back together. Get a little more symbiotic. This Bengals offense, so we'll start there. The Bengals offense is fantastic. They're so good. They found another number 3 to take over Tyler Boyd. Jamar Chase is lighting shit up. Joe Burrow is playing fucking lights out. The two-headed monsters are running back. They're going to score points. Giants defense is okay. They're not terrible. They're kind of a middle-of-the-pack defense. Not a bad front, though. But the really fun matchup is going to be the Bengals defense against Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes, who is now making over $50 million a year because he's really good at beating the shit out of shitty defenses. That's how he made that money.
The thing is, too, is like if you compare Danny Dimes statistically right now to Pat Mahomes, it ain't that fucking different.
I know. Like, he's not playing bad. And
I think I saw one meme this week that was Pat Mahomes is Danny Dimes with Andy Reid as his head coach. And I was kind of like, I mean, this year, it's not the worst it takes.
Danny Dimes is playing better. We have to give him his fucking flowers on that. He is playing better. I believe that the Giants can fucking keep this thing close. I really do. I'm going to rock with Danny Dimes and the Giants again. Giants plus 3.5.
We saw Danny Dimes without pressure in his face when he faced Seattle last week, and Danny Dimes was able to do things that he normally doesn't do, like pass the ball down the field, like deep shots. This is a Bengals defense that is not going to be able to generate the pressure, at least not consistently. And Danny Dimes might be able to do things.
Fucking good. All you need is a chip, and you have all the time in the world because nobody else is generating pressure.
Yeah. It's a weird play, but we're taking the Giants on this one.
Yeah, Giants.
It always feels weird to take the Giants there. All right, and that takes us to our last game of the week here. Monday Night Football, Bills at the Jets. Jets team, no Robert Saleh. We got Ulbrich, who's definitely a football dude. I actually like him as a DC. Nathaniel Hackett, I believe, has been relieved of the play calling duties. I believe. Maybe Todd Downing, I think, is going to be making play calls there for offense, which could definitely help. But I still think that whoever, Nathaniel Hackett, Todd Downing, whoever, doesn't really matter on that offense. Aaron Rodgers is in charge. He wants just like 2 wide receivers, fucking no play action.
I want to make sure Todd Downing is a defensive head coach, right?
No.
Is that a defensive coach?
No.
He's a what coach?
He's an offensive coach of some sort.
Todd Downing is an offensive coach.
I believe so.
Okay.
Passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the New York Jets.
He is the guy who is the interim head coach and he is calling plays.
No, Ulbrich.
Isn't he?
Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, is the interim head coach. Todd Downing is the offensive passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the Jets. He's going to be taking over play calling duties from
I cannot fucking keep up with all the changes that the Jets are doing. I can tell you that them not having Nathaniel Hackett call plays is good. Mm-hmm. But it also doesn't really matter because Aaron Rodgers is calling the fucking plays. Probably. Aaron Rodgers will throw a ball into the dirt on purpose because he doesn't like something.
I don't know I would go that far. I dislike Aaron Rodgers a lot, but
my man, have you not heard the stories of quarterbacks that were doing this?
Yeah, but
you don't think Aaron Rodgers,
he's very emotional. He's very emotional.
All right, I'm not going to bait you into just berating Aaron Rodgers. But, don't
get me fucking started. I'm half on
here. Yeah, the Jets are bad.
They're good on defense.
Do you think they're doomed from firing their defensive head coach?
That's the thing is a lot of times you see a head coach get fired and the team wants that. I don't know that the team wanted this. I don't think the players on the team wanted this. I think we've heard this consistently. They are frustrated with Aaron Rodgers on the Jets. The players around him are frustrated with him. They are frustrated with Nathaniel Hackett. We bring in Aaron Rodgers to help save this offense and this team, and he's like, I'll only come if I bring all my fucking buddies. And guess what? All your buddies are fucking washed or suck. Nathaniel Hackett sucks. Alan Lazard is washed. Like who was Cobb fucking washed when he was there last year. Like it's and Aaron Rodgers last week, 3 interceptions versus my Vikings defense, looked fucking washed at points and was still emotional. Hurry up with the play, hurry up with the play. It doesn't fucking matter if he hurries up. It's not going to fucking work because that offense is dog shit. You have a 2-headed monster at running back that can't get shit done. You have 2 really good running backs and can't get shit done. Like it is not because those players are not good. It is something else. That offense is anemic. Like maybe Zach Wilson is not as bad as he actually looked.
That's not true.
Yeah, it's not true. I was just trying to bait you there. I was trying to bait you, be like, whoa.
Listen, I have already been proven right about Zach Wilson. I don't need to be baited anymore. I already know that I got that one.
Yeah, I don't expect to see an uplift from the offense with Downing jumping in as the offensive coordinator. I mean, maybe we see a little bit of a boost in the running game, but I don't think the passing game is necessarily going to change. No. On the flip side, defense is good for that Jets team. That's what scares me about them going up against the Bills is that I don't think anything's going to change on defense. They are a good defensive team, especially in the secondary, which means it's going to be have to be a ground game for the Bills for the most part. James Cook is coming in a little bit beat up. There's question marks about whether or not he would play on Monday with turf and ankle issues. He is set to play. He is set to start. And then obviously you have Josh Allen, who has the capability to run the ball. No news on that concussion situation, really.
I don't know. Did you not see the report? So they have done an official investigation. It has been ruled that he was not unconscious on the field and that there was a thorough concussion protocol done on Josh Allen. That is what the NFL has ruled. Whether we want to believe that or not that's on us. However, there was an investigation done, and they have cleared everybody of any wrongdoing of putting him out there and endangering him.
Okay. Either way, I think that he's going to have to run the ball some. Look, the Jets right now, no pass rush. So if he wants to sit back and kind of take his shots, he can. But I think this is going to be a run-heavy game for the Buffalo Bills. If you want to try to combat that strong Jets pass D. And on the flip side, like the Bills should be able to compete against an Aaron Rodgers, Todd Downing, Nathaniel Hackett offense. That is still going to continue to be a problem. I'm dropping the points for the Bills, -2.5.
Yeah, I'm dropping the points as well. I do not believe that Josh Allen will not bounce back at some point. Listen, if they said that he wasn't unconscious, I will try to believe them, even though my eyes told me that he was definitely unconscious. But I don't think that Josh Allen will go shit week, especially coming off for after a 9 for 30 performance. That's what the worst performance of his career.
One of them, maybe not as bad as like his rookie year. He's had some bad ones there, but yeah, it was not a good game at all.
Like, he is going to bounce back, in my opinion. He's going to put it to the Jets and fucking.
That's where I want to see Devontae go. I want Devontae to go to the Bills.
That would be fantastic. Actually, that would be fucking spectacular. Actually play for a New York team instead of the New Jersey team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Josh Allen bounces back. I think they get this done. I also agree the run game will be pretty important. We see a lot of James Cook. I don't know how much they'll run him based on the shit that happened last week. So I would expect they probably run heavy. A lot of play action. Look for the tight ends, multiple tight ends to be involved in this Bills offense. Take some pressure off of Josh. So I got Bills -2.5.
All righty. And that wraps up our week.
Hell
and we
yeah.
just hit triple zeros on the clock in that Bears-Jags game. Bears obviously get the win, 35-16 at the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I put it together a parlay this morning just for that game. I did come up 17 yards short of Tank Bigsby's 40.5 over rushing yards because they couldn't run the ball because they were so fucking far down. But you know what? Caleb Williams does a pretty good job. Impresses again.
Yep, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 226 yards.
Yeah,
like he's putting up some statistics.
That's a good day. That's a great day for a rookie quarterback. Mm-hmm. So Bears kind of on a roll. Caleb's starting to find his stride. Jags down bad, dude. Jags down so bad. There are going to be conversations in the next year about how they're going to get out of Trevor Lawrence's contract, or Peterson's fired this year. They can't be this bad with that.
I don't think they're going to try to move on from Lawrence that quick. Like, something's off with Lawrence, obviously, but he had shown enough earlier in his career that I think you can still get something out of him.
I'm sure you can, which means Doug Peterson's fired. Like, one of the two things, there's going to be some very hard conversations about Trevor Lawrence, or Doug Peterson is fired after this year.
I mean, Balky needs to go immediately.
Well, that was from the rip.
No.
But all right, man. I got nothing else. You got anything else for the people before we start getting out of here?
No, I think that's it, man. Hopefully, we see some good games this week. We definitely had good games last week. Hopefully, we get some good ones, and hopefully, we start hitting on some more of these picks.
Hell yeah! A lot of contrarian picks between the two of us. I'll pop that up here one last time, just so we can give you the final rundown before we bounce the fuck out of here. So we talked about those early games all the way up to the Cardinals. So both of us, we're on the Broncos +3. I'm on Raiders -3. You went Steelers +3. I got Falcons -6.5. You went Panthers +6.5. Both on the Lions -3. Both on the Giants +3.5. Both on the Bills -2.5. There is your full slate parlay for the rest of the day. You still get that in 28 minutes till game time for everybody else on week 6 of the NFL. My man, you ready to bounce out of here?
Hell yeah, brother. I got to piss. I got ready for some football.
Hell yeah. Guys, this is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. If you want to interact with the show, go to any of the places below. We got, here we go. X, Facebook, the TikTok. No, there we go. And there's the phone number. And if you guys would not mind, we would love if you would bounce over to our YouTube page. Please like, subscribe, share with everybody that you know. We love coming to you guys. We will continue to do this. But the more support that you guys show, the better we can make this for you. We thank you guys every week. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. Anytime that you spend some of it with us, we cannot thank you enough. And with that, we're just going to get out of here. I'm Mike. That's Evo. Thank you guys very much. We'll be back Tuesday night recapping everything that happened over the next couple of days. But with that, We're out of here. Evo, give the people one last word.
Happy bye week for all my 5-0 teams out there.
There you go. Must be good to be good. All right, we're getting out of here. I'm Mike. That's Evo. This is the Lineman Lounge. See you.